welcome to MGTracey. Well, today we're going to be looking at this, the Dentek Temparin Max Repair Kit. So today I'm going to show you what it is, how it works, but more importantly, how can you use it safely. So I discovered this in Dollar Tree when I was in America and I was having some problems with my teeth, and it's now available pretty much all around the world in different sizes. So if you're lucky enough, you might still find it in Dollar Tree, one of the cheaper shops. If not, Walgreens, Walmart and UK Boots, all these sort of places will carry this brand or something very similar. So it's a temporary way to fix problems with your teeth. It's been very good, I think, for a lot of people who've had problems during the pandemic. But if you're on holiday and you have a filling come out or crown come loose and you don't really fancy having to get all that work done in another country, then this will really tide you over until you get back home to your own dentist. One of the most important things is when you do get to see a dentist, this is only a temporary repair. You need to make sure you tell them exactly what you've had, and then they will know how to safely remove it and make sure that your permanent replacement is not affected by this material. So you can open the pack just by splitting it in the corner here, and then I suggest you keep all the packaging to refer back to that, or as I said before, this is temporary really, so you could show your dentist when you're back home. In the pack there are two things. You've got a little tool which you'll find useful whether you're doing filling or replacing a crown, and you've got the material itself, and it's in a sort of form of a paste really when you pop this open. And you see there isn't very much, but actually you don't need very much. So this material is just a little bit like plasticine. It's quite squidgy. And so what we're going to do, we're going to imagine for this that you've had a bridge, or the same as for crowns come off here, and we're just going to break off a little piece of this, ready to reapply the crown. So you just pinch off a little bit of this, you don't need very much, and in a little ball there, you can just put that in the hole there, and just pat that down. And another little bit here. Obviously if you've got a crown, then you would just only be doing one hole here. Let's just get that neatly in there. There we go. So that's now in there and that's ready to be refitted. Now, the next bit's a little bit tricky. You don't need this area completely dry, but it certainly needs to not be too wet. And then you're just then going to reapply the crown just by pushing it down, and just ease that in there. Shouldn't be any pain. And then you would then bite down on it and make sure that that is fitting okay and feels comfortable. And that's really the key bit of that. Now you can see that is going to hold that there until you can get to your own dentist. So it's important not to put too much of your material in, because then it's not going to spread around. If you have had that happen, you need to get that surplus off, and you can just use your little tool, but try not to let that happen. And you can see that the little amounts in there have spread out evenly to hold that in place. So put the remainder back in your little pot there and keep that. Now you need to let that dry. It says in instructions for 2 or 3 hours, and that does seem about right from my personal experience, before you start eating or drinking or whatever. And then as soon as you can, when you're home, you need to get the dentist to do a more permanent job of that for you. And remember to tell your dentist what material you've used. You know, if it was left on there, then it can make it more difficult. The work the dentist has to do, they do need to know what you've done. Now the other use for this, which is really handy if you're on holiday and vacation and like me, you're chewing something and you pull out a filling, is to be able to put a little temporary filling in here. This also can stop any sensitivity and any more damage being done until you can get a permanent filling done when you're back home. So for this one we just need a little bit more of the material. Put that in a little ball, and I imagine that's the filling. So just push a little bit of that in there, and then with your little tool there, just spread that out neatly into the hole. Wet your finger and then just gently push that down. Again, make sure that your mouth and jaw shuts fully, and then again, that's fine. Now leave that for 2 or 3 hours, that'll harden, and then you've got that emergency repair done until you can see your own dentist or a dentist, which is very good. Once again, remember, you do need to tell your dentist what it is, because this material will interfere with some of the new cements that are used to stick things back in to our mouths. So as long as you tell your dentist what you've done, then they will be able to safely rinse that away so that the new cements don't have a problem, or the new fillings don't have a problem. So yeah, I highly recommend this. If you're not able to get that from a shop, I'll put the links below where you can get that. If you can send me a super thanks, that's brilliant. I just use all the money from those tips to buy new things, to make new videos, to help you. Please subscribe if you haven't done already. This is Paul from London, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio for now.